What's up, guys? I'm Jim Ansel, this is Real Deal Outdoors, and it's time for another MTB unboxing. So before we get into May's box, I want to thank Mystery Tackle Box as always for sponsoring this video. You know, Mystery Tackle Box, for those of you guys who don't know, it's a monthly subscription service. You get a box of tackles sent to your house every single month. You know, there's 3 different tiers to the service. You can also choose different species and techniques. If you like bass fishing, of course, you can get the bass box like I get. But if you do more inshore fishing, you can get one of those. You can get one for panfish and so on and so forth. There's different boxes out there for whatever species you guys like to target. Now, one of the cool things about this box is it gets you guys to step outside of your comfort zone. And I say this every single month. It's really important as an angler that you learn to do that so that you can maximize your effectiveness. You know, oftentimes as anglers, we get stuck in a rut. We want to use the same lures over and over and over again. Now, hopefully, if that sounds like you, you're using a lure that works. But even the best lures on the market don't work all the time in every single situation. That's why it's important for you guys to diversify a little bit. Learn some different techniques. Use some different baits that maybe you guys wouldn't choose for yourself in the tackle shop. And that's what Mystery Tackle Box does. It opens up a whole new world of possibilities for you guys by introducing you to new baits, new techniques, giving you guys the tools for success. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, I'd love to help you guys out. I can get you guys a discount on your first box. All you got to do is go down into the description. Down there, you're going to find a link to the Mystery Tackle Box website. You can head over to that link. That's going to give you guys a discount if you're a first-time subscriber. There's also a code down there. If you just go to the Mystery Tackle Box website yourself, you can plug that code in at checkout. That's going to save you guys a little bit of money. All right, so without further ado, let's jump into this month's box and see what we got. All right, guys, so this is the Bass Pro box for the month of May. We're going to jump into this guy and see what they sent for us this month. All right, y'all, so the first thing we're going to come to in here, we got some soft plastics here, and these are from Callan's, and this is called the Tickle tail. Now, this is a pretty unique looking little swim bait. It's got all kinds of little appendages that run all up and down the sides of this guy. And I'll tell you what, let me take one of these guys out so you can see it up close. Okay, so here you go. You can see all these little appendages here that run all up and down the side of the bait. They've got these little bulbs on the end of them, and I'm sure those are going to add to the effectiveness of this lure. It's probably going to create bubbles as this thing swims through the water. It's probably also going to displace more water and create vibration, which will attract fish from afar. So really neat looking little lure. And this right here for me is going to be a perfect color. It's a natural color. I love these natural colors. They work really well for me around here. All right, and it says here that the color of these guys is sunny. You get 8 of these guys in a pack. Just a really cool looking little lure, guys. I think this is gonna work pretty well for us. And remember, guys, on your bait card in the box, you're gonna get a URL that you can go to. There's gonna be videos about each individual lure that you got in the box at that URL. And I did the video for these this month. And it's a pretty cool looking lure in the test tank. We got some test tank footage over there for y'all, so definitely go check that out. But yeah, that is the Callan's Tickle Tail, 3.8 inches. All right, so let's move on along, see what else we got this month. All right, we got some more soft plastics in here, and these are from Bruiser Baits, and they're called the Stick Worm. You get 7 of these in the bag. The color that we got this month is watermelon red. And guys, there's not a lot to say about these. They look to be your standard stick bait design. A lot like a Gary Yamamoto Senko, and you can't go wrong with one of those, man. This is one of the most fish catching lures on the market today, period. Now, I will say that my favorite way to fish these guys is weightless. I like the extra hang time. The longer that lure can hang in the strike zone, as far as I'm concerned, the better. I get more bites that way, and I'm weird like that. For me, it's the exact opposite of what most guys like. Most guys like a really salty, faster falling lure. I actually like the lures with a little less salt content. They fall a little bit slower. They hang in the strike zone a little bit longer. But that is the Stick Worm from Bruiser Baits. Okay, next up I see in here, this is going to be the big ticket item this month. All right, guys, so what we've got here is a new lure that's just out this year from 10,000 Fish. This is called the Cycle Bait. And you guys might look at this and say, well, it's a spinner bait. Yes, it is a spinner bait, but it has a unique twist. Now up here where the blade is, where it's attached to the wire, you actually have a couple of rings, and those rings completely change the action of this lure. Now, whereas with most spinner baits, what you're gonna get is a bait that runs pretty much true. It runs straight. You do a straight retrieve with it, it's gonna run straight the whole way back to you. You know, there's not a whole lot of action from it other than the blade spinning. Now with the cycle bait, what you're gonna get is actually a hunting action, and that's produced by these rings right here. Rather than this bait running straight back to you, it's going to swim a lot like a bait fish. So you're going to get a side-to-side motion with this thing that you don't get with those traditional spinner baits. And I think that it's going to trigger a whole lot more bites. And this is a really great lure that you can pair up with another new bait from 10,000 Fish. It's called the Yodo worm. That Yodo worm's got a really long tapered tail, and that tail creates a ton of action. It just looks really good on the back of one of these things. With that swaying action, that tail is just dancing all over the place. I think the combination is going to be fantastic for you guys. But anyway, it looks like we got a 3/8 ounce one here. We've got the willow blade configuration. They've also got a Colorado blade configuration. Okay, with the willow blade, what you get is a free swinging head. Okay, this is a little bit different than what you get with the Colorado blade where the head is fixed. Now, I've used both configurations. Both of them work really well. Like I said, I love the action that you get from this thing. It looks a lot more natural, looks a lot more like a fish. Yeah, guys, that's the cycle bait from 10,000 Fish. Let's see, what color is this that we've got here? All right, it says the color here is dark June bug with a gold blade, and it's a 4/0 hook. So really cool lure, guys. This is something that's going to be really cool to add to y'all's arsenal. Really glad they included that in the box this month. All right, next up we have, all right, this looks like a wake bait. This is from Strike Pro, and it says back here that the, let's see, it's the Cranky X SS 75F Wagon Hasu, whatever that says. It says the diving depth is 0 to 0.3 feet. So yeah, this is a subsurface bait. You can use this as a wake bait, I'm sure, and you can get just below the surface. These things work really well, guys. Now, I've never used this particular one from Strike Pro, but wake baits are something that I have grown to love over the last couple of years. You know, the first wake baits that I got were from Storm. They were those Arashi wake baits, and I loved that lure so much. I caught a ton of fish on that lure. It's got a pretty neat looking color pattern on it. It's a fairly natural looking color pattern. So, you know, like I said, those natural colors for me work the best. I think this is going to work really well for me. Yeah, guys, pretty nice looking wake bait. Excited to get a wake bait. I always love these guys. All right, let's move on along and see what else we got in here. We're getting down to the wire. We don't have too much left in the box. All right, next up here, we've got a lure from Hoey Lures. Hoey. I don't know how to pronounce that. I assume it's Hoey. And this is another one of those lures that I did the video for this month. So there's some test tank footage for you guys to check out over at the link on that bait card. And this guy is called the Dogger Pup. All right, and what this thing is going to be really good for is your finesse applications. This thing looks really good on a drop shot. And like I said, we've got some test tank footage for you guys to check out. I did do this on a drop shot, so you get to see what it looks like on that. I think I also did this on a Texas rig, so you guys get to see what it looks like on a Texas rig. But this is a pretty cool lure. It's got one of those antenna tails. It tapers down into a really fine point at the end, and typically that gives you a really cool action, at least from the part of the lure that's tapered like that. You're going to get a really neat action out of this. I get a lot of bites on lures like this that have that kind of action. The way that these things sway when you work them with the rod tip, it seems to be irresistible to fish. And that's not just this lure, that's any lure like this. I've had a lot of success with lures like this, so this is definitely something that I'll be using in the near future. And I don't know what the color is that we have here. I don't think that it says on the packaging anywhere, but it does say here on the back of the packaging that you can Texas rig this. You can fish it weightless, you can go Carolina style with it, fish it on a shaky head, a drop shot, an eco rig. So there's a lot of different ways that you can fish this lure. Any of these lures that are that versatile, they're great lures to have in your tackle box, guys. Also down here it says that these are proudly made in America, which is awesome. I love to support my American businesses, so that's really cool. All right, y'all, we got just a couple more things in the box. We're gonna move along, and next up I see we've got a little swim bait here. And this bait's from Optimum Baits. It's called the Original Swim Bait. And the color that we've got here is Ghost Minnow. Now this looks like it's gonna be a decent little swim bait. It's definitely simple. It's got that old school design to it. But you know, guys, a lot of times those old school designs, they work just as well as anything new that you're gonna get. The action is what you really wanna pay attention to. And I've seen this thing, I've seen some test tank footage of this, and it swims really well. So I've got no doubt that this is gonna work. The problem for me is the color here. Around here where I fish at, like I've said in multiple videos, The water around here is real murky, it's muddy, and this is a more transparent lure. So this is going to be something that you're probably going to want to use in clear water situations. And I'm going to hang on to it for my clear water situations because I do come across clear water every now and then, especially when I'm fishing in the river up in Virginia. So I think this is going to work for me really well up there. But again, man, it's just a classic lure. There's not a whole lot that I can say about this other than it's a design that's proven itself over time. It works really well. So I think this is going to be a decent, solid swim bait. I'm sure it's going to catch fish. So moving along, I think we got one more thing in here, and that's our terminal tackle for the month. And these are some hooks from Harmony Fishing Company. We get Harmony hooks pretty often in mystery tackle boxes. I don't care about the brand. I don't care about any of that. These are solid hooks. They work really well. And I just love getting terminal tackle because it's one of the things that I go through faster than anything else in my tackle box. I lose terminal tackle like nobody's business. So aside from soft plastic worms, hooks or hooks and weights, that's what I go through the most. So I love it when they send me my terminal tackle. I get to top the box off. So, but that's it, guys. That's it for this month. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this month's video. There was some great stuff in this month's box. We got a cool wake bait in there from Strike Pro. Got some really cool tickle tails in there, a couple of other things. But the showstopper this month for me was definitely that cycle bait. If you guys haven't had a chance yet to use that cycle bait, I definitely recommend it. It's a really cool and unique twist on a spinnerbait that I really think is going to get a lot more bites. It just takes your traditional spinnerbait to a whole new level. Well, I appreciate you guys watching as always. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm very close to being finished with my boat. Finally, I'm doing a John boat to bass boat conversion, and I should be able to get that thing out on the water and do some fishing videos for you guys very soon. Bank fishing here this year has just been awful so far. I've had 1 or 2 days where I've caught a decent number of fish. Unfortunately, I didn't have my camera out with me when it happened. But with this boat, I'm going to be able to do a whole lot more stuff that I haven't been able to do in the past. So we're looking forward to doing those videos real soon. Finally, tell me your thoughts. Drop down into the comment section. Let me know what your favorite bait was out of this month's box. Tell me what you guys got. Sometimes you get a different box than what I might have got. It's always interesting to hear what everybody got in their box this month. Well, again, thank you guys for watching, and tight lines until next time.